All right, we're back. During the break, I found a Pop-Tart. So, I'm gonna do player intros, and then I'm gonna finish the second half of this Pop-Tart. I'm pretty invested into it, even though I don't like it. It's birthday cake flavored. Ugh. So, thank you guys for joining us here for the round of 32 for the IM Katowice event. We are sadly not casting anything else beyond this point. Not tomorrow, and it's just gonna be the main stage. And I thank you guys for joining us for day 1 of coverage. Spawning here in the top left side of Orena. Will he do those drops? We'll have to wait and see. It's gonna be the Blue Zerg Hydra, currently up 2-1 in the series.
In the bottom left as the Red Terran. He's happy.
Okay, so I got the bot back up, by the way, but unfortunately, it went down because the computer restarted. Kind of sucks.
Oh.
But I do want to regard this as a reminder, not the bot, sorry, that this series is worth $6,000 essentially, worth 300 WCS points essentially. Whoever walks out of this as the loser will gain nothing. There's no prize money for the round of 32 whatsoever. The round of 16, that's where it starts. $6,000 each, combined with the fact there's 300 WCS points. 8 players can get at least that much out of this tournament.
Yeah. Not nothing. They get to experience Poland, and they learn something that day, like,
About
don't
friendship?
die to Nidus Vermullins or something like that. And yeah, they might have learned something about friendship, which I know is very important to pro gamers. They go home with nothing.
Untoasted Pop-Tarts are really hard to eat when you're this tired.
Oh, my mouth just don't want to move.
Yeah, my tongue hurts.
Hey. Anyway. Yeah, Pop-Tarts are delicious. I wish I had one. So, the Reaper is pretty annoying, but it really wants to get up into that main base and actually scout what's going on. So often we see Terrans just be like, well, I can kill things with this Reaper, so let's not go and scout, and then they get it killed, and they never get a scout. And that can be sometimes devastating. They actually don't have Hydra doing anything sneaky, though. No Roach Warren yet. No Evolution Chamber yet. And just droning for now. And Happy will be happy to see that. He's actually, wow, preempting any aggression with a bunker. That is overly cautious.
Okay, so now that I've done that wonderful snack, I do want to actually take this time to remind anybody, in case we have any of the North American players tuning in, whether you're just a college kid or maybe you're one of the pros, we have a cup coming up tonight. So if you're not at IEM Katowice, Fear Dragon will be back in several hours with the Chairs for Gaming $100 cup. So just a quick, shout out to if you are a player, come win some money tonight. Be hosted here on Bay Street TV.
Mm-hmm. Fun times. So yeah, unfortunately, Happy, he didn't really ever get a full scout. Oh wait, he did. At the last second. Okay, so I guess before, as you were talking about the Chairs for Gaming Cup, he got back in there and actually saw the lair. So that is really important. I was going to say he didn't see if it was in a Roach Warren and whatnot, but seeing that lair is definitely important. He already did on the bunker. I mean, salvage it later, I suppose. Building another one of the natural. Playing a really safe game. He scans. He wants to make sure that 2-base lair was for a Spire and maybe not just like a late Roach Warren and a Nidus Swarm combined together, and has confirmed it. So he's actually going to go ahead and stop in a 3rd CC, because mutas mean harassment, not like I'm going to kill you right now most of the time. But that 3rd CC location is something where you could get sniped.
It's questionable.
Yeah.
And that's a good point, too, because if you are busy bleeding out SCVs, the best way to replace them is by building more of them. Quick shout out, by the way, to Tempo, who is confirmed. He said in chat he's planning to cast with Robbie tonight, so cool. We're going to have him casting it up for Dragon for tonight's cup. They did a great job. They did a great job during the last one.
Yeah. So this is a very odd push, but a tank, it's not quite like an Immortal, but it has a lot of DPS unsieged, and that building is going to go down. That very important Spire that's almost done. You do not want to restart that.
Oh, this screws with the timing so heavily. This was really nicely done out of Happy. Loses a Marine for it. Definitely worth its cost. And, okay, a couple drones to boot. This was an excellent attack.
Yeah,
this is something you would see, by the way. This is like a TVT drop, not a TVZ drop. An unsieged tank for Marines. What is that? That was a wonderful use of them, though.
Very odd. So that's blaming Hydra, not expecting it. This is not enough lings because you can just pick up.
Or just take the fight in a choke.
Yeah, right? We do have Hydra transferring over into Roaches, and I think that's what you gotta do on Arena. It's just too short to try and go into Banelings, too. The mutas are not a bad opener. In fact, they can be very good, but Ling Bling on this map, on the ground, just doesn't hold up usually, especially because tanks can be so abusive here. That's where you need the Corrosive Biles to stop them from going through the choke, and, well, hopefully stop their tanks from being too much of a nuisance. This stim timing looks like the best stim timing Happy's had his entire series, actually finishing up before 1-1's even halfway. And you should have a really nicely set up push on 3 bases with 1-1 combat shields and stim. As long as you can get through the choke, that is. That's where the mutas are going to come in handy here, trying to hold off on that push and actually buy time to swap over into those roaches.
This is the most interesting thing happening right now, so we're watching it. Oh, actually, I like that Contaminate quite a bit. It's not going to hurt this right now, but it would stop more Liberator production if it was on the way. Nice way to use your Overlord before you lose it, or Overseer, excuse me, before you lose it.
Yeah, lose it before you use it? Wait.
Something along those lines.
It's probably right both ways. Missile turrets coming down on the outer edges of Happy's base sometimes look very clever, and you think that you're just going to stop mutas dead in your tracks, and then you call them alive turrets, and they don't, but he does have a couple of missile turrets also in the mineral line, so still a good use of them.
Yeah, I mean, the missile turrets, I think we've all learned it like long ago. Missile turrets are never going to stop mutas, but they will deter them, and that's probably their best use. Now, if you want to invest in like 17 missile turrets around your base, go super crazy turtle mode, good luck to you, but it's usually mobility of Marines and splash damage of Liberator is going to beat out missile turrets every single time.
Mm-hmm. I guess combat shields started like a little bit later. He was dealing with putting in missile turrets and whatnot, so it's not going to be done for this push. We also don't have a ton of ground splash here, and Liberators aren't really splash, but they are a third unit you can get, I guess. But there's only 1 tank, no Widow Mines, obviously Hellbats are never in this game. So there's not actually a lot of abuse for the choke or for the ledges on Arena. And I think Hydra can be happy knowing that and knowing that his mutas are still doing damage.
Combat shields denied, by the way.
Nice.
So did not get to complete.
Mm.
That was his only tech lab, too. Oh, a real shame.
Very nice pick off for Hydra then. Who was, he was looking a little bit questionable when that Spire went down. Maybe he wouldn't have the same harassment he would if it didn't, but he has actually done really great with his mutas still. And the transfer out into Roaches has been pretty smooth.
Right, so that's where combat shields is really interesting. Definitely always a good thing, and ooh, nice pickup for the mutas. Combat shields is always a nice thing to have. You never not like if you can get it, you want it. That's just tear 'em, period. However, combat shields is a lot more influential when it comes to baneling fights. I think the Roach fights. It's still again gonna be a determining factor in a fight, but because it is Roaches, because it is Ravagers, whether Marines have combat shields or not, a Corsair Gear will still kill them. Like that much is still gonna be the same.
More bunkers coming down here, and it's like. There's being wise defensively, and then there's being over defensive and actually hurting yourself because you're investing too much in the defenses. And the middle ground there is really hard to find. But pro gamers usually they know it. But I really feel like Happy is playing a little bit too defensive. Like he is actually scared of Hydra, and that's just going off of like. From the very get-go of this game, he went for that bunker on the high ground, He's obviously scared of Hydra's power here.
Damn. Well, Hydra's got a lot of power. Rains Corrosive Biles from above. Just a quick little whoosh, 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 and cleans out the Marines in the front line. And as he continues his supply advantage, Happy is maybe going to take this fight defensively. Mita's going to come in from the backside to pick off his tanks, though. A little bit late to the party, but that was a very expensive attack on a Hydra that quickly went from from even to ahead to behind.
Yeah.
Roller coaster ride of emotions watching the supply count.
That's why I said, Happy's only playing, a little bit on that, too much on the defensive line, because the bunkers actually ended up helping out, a lot. So, he's still doing a good job, but I am worried that maybe he's gonna let the game go on longer, and let Hydra kind of fix that mistake of, dedicating a little bit too much. But his tank count is finally getting to that double tank production, so he's probably going to feel a lot more confident with a higher tank count to push out. And, he's going to have upgrades as well. So I hope he does something, whether it's a drop or a push out. Maybe the drop's going to be better here. I don't know. Something.
I like... Sorry, 1 second. I like the tunneling clause quite a bit, actually. I think that's This is going to be a really interesting way to watch them get utilized because, again, you can get underneath the tanks, and oftentimes you're not scanning unless it's on fight, like a fight on creep. You're often not going to see a lot of scans. You know, there's not burrowed banelings. You're not paranoid moving out. So you might just be able to catch some of those tanks before they get picked up in the first place. Alternatively, Hydra may just use this to try and sneak to the mineral lines. He tried to do that before, but failed. And we'll see if this works.
Yeah. Only a couple of roaches. They look really suspicious. Well, now they look doubly suspicious as Tunneling Claws finishes up and gives them those spikes on the back.
Where are the tanks?
This was like a walk by. Like, it's not his full army. It was like a drop, but not a drop.
When is a drop, not a drop? Well, okay, I know we talked about this before. Ravagers, how do you not see that as Marines?
How do you not step in the lava and just die anyway?
Well, not even that, but like the horn that sticks out like above the ground. Like, oh, I wonder what that is. That just looks like a rock.
Oh, God.
Well, I've never actually seen a Ravager burrowed. We talked about this before in a cast, and there you go. There you have it. Cauldron of whatever that boiling shit on their head is sticks out of the ground like a sore thumb. Okay, the Ravager count continue to increase as he pushes across the map. Burrow, of course, going to allow the Roaches to heal in some engagements, which should be cool. Top right base, though, under attack, and he'll have to send the Lings over there if he wants to defend it. Meanwhile, Crystal Battles raining from above. Do catch some of the medevacs on this engagement, but not hitting any of the tanks because the tanks are still firing. GG. This is going to go to the ace match as we tie this up 2-2. And this also